What's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. Today we are starting a new project at Rhino Ranch, but first a quick little story time. We had a little bit of a scare yesterday, or maybe a lot of bit of a scare, of my biggest fear out here almost coming true, and that is the good pup Gunner over there. And well, as you can see in the yard behind me, we've kind of let the yard get a little bit away from me. We've been so busy finishing up this project, moving on to the restaurant projects and a couple other projects, I haven't really done as much yard maintenance as I should be doing. And it almost bit me in the butt yesterday. Well, not me. It almost bit Gunner in the butt yesterday. My biggest fear out here is one of the dogs getting bit by a rattlesnake. You know, obviously they have a nice, beautiful yard to wander in, but there's a lot of places for snakes to hide. We've been lucky up until this point. We have never seen a rattlesnake anywhere near the house. We've seen a couple little baby ones up by the guest house, but that's about it. Well, yesterday, Gunner was going to the bathroom over here, and I watched him go to that little wall that you see right there and kind of start sniffing around on the back side of it. He was just kind of reaching his head over, and that's when I heard it. A very, very, very aggressive rattle started coming from the other side of that wall. Thankfully, Gunner in his old age, Gunner's almost 14 years old, but he is still very well trained, and he is on it. I was instantly able to call him back and away from it, and then I had to go do some investigating. So right on the other side of the wall, there were some weeds that had grown, and there wasn't a ton, but there was enough, and I could not tell where the snake was. I mean, I didn't know if it was on this side, if it was on this side. All I could do was just kind of hear it periodically. Cut to a little clip right here. I'll show you guys the snake kind of buried in the weeds, and it was just in a spot that wasn't really easy to get a shovel into to teach him how to use a shovel, right? Because I love to teach snakes how to use shovels. I couldn't find his head, because if you're gonna teach something, you gotta go straight to the head to teach it. So ended up teaching him how to use a slingshot instead, and was able to get him out. And he ended up being a pretty good sized snake. He had about 11 rattles on him. But now, as you can see, first thing this morning, we are completely cleaning all of this area, getting all the weeds out of here, making sure that this is spotless. It's not a good place for snakes to hang out, hide, and if they are there, we're gonna spot them from a mile away now. Now, I don't know if it's because we have way less peacocks than we used to, or way less guinea hens than we used to, if that's the reason now we've seen a snake at the house. But honestly, like, we've been seeing snakes at the weirdest times. When we had the hurricane come through a couple weeks ago, I was driving over to James's house, and there was a big old rattlesnake in the middle of a hurricane crossing the road. Right? Like, it was pouring rain, freezing. All the things you thought you knew about rattlesnakes, I'm like, if it's hot out, keep an eye out for them. I'm like, no, you keep an eye out full time. But thankfully, our Gunner is still good, huh, buddy? We ain't gonna let those snakes get you, buddy. Nope. Alrighty, now we are moving forward, though, with the next project at Rhino Ranch. And that is sitting right there on those pallets. It's been sitting here for, I think, a month. The next project is sitting right there. As you guys know, we've got a bunch of new pieces of equipment. We've got the Coyote tractor. We've got my beautiful Diamond C Job trailer that has the excavator sitting in the back of it. And anytime anything is living out in the sun, you are just shortening the lifespan drastically, and we don't want that. But I'm also not ready to build the big shop out here that we're going to build eventually. Just to put into perspective, I'm guessing it's going to be a $250,000 to $300,000 shop. I don't have $250,000 or $300,000 to burn right now. What I do have, though, is a couple of grand to spend on this right here. So this is a VersaTube carport. Probably seen ads for these all over the internet. And there's a bunch of different manufacturers that make carports and little steel buildings and all kinds of things. I mean, there's tons of them, right? VersaTube had a sale going on, and I'm sure it was still more than I could have gotten it somewhere else. Check that out, check that out. A hawk just landed in that tree and pissed all these birds off. He's a big old boy right there. But I figured I'm just gonna buy some time before we start the shop build by going this route. So if you guys have never ordered from VersaTube, they have a bunch of different options on their website. They got the standard carport that has these like radiused oversides, which look like absolute junk in my opinion. They look really cheap. Anytime I say something looks trailer parkish, everybody gets really offended. Listen, there's good ways to be a trailer park, and there's really trashy ways to be a trailer park. This one looks trashier, on the trashier side of things. I don't want this place to look like that. So they have another carport system that has more of a traditional style pitched roof. And once I saw those, I'm like, all right, I think I could go carport, because I was always against carports. And you can order these a bunch of different ways. You can order just the frame if you want to do the sheet metal yourself. You can order the frame with 4 sides and a door. You can order the frame with 3 sides, 2 sides, half sides, whatever. A bunch of configurations you can do with this. What I opted for, though, for now, is I'm just doing the frame and the roof. The reason being is I'm not sure what I want to do on the sides. Either we're going to do something temporary, or we're going to like kind of pimp this thing out and make it cool. We'll figure that out once we get this thing erect. So the way VersaTube works, if you're ordering like I ordered, where you ordered the basically just a standard carport, well, the upgraded standard carport, which is the frame and the roof. So the frame gets shipped directly from VersaTube. That's this pallet you see right here. And then I'm assuming they find a local metal supplier, and that's where the sheet metal comes from, because the metal came a couple of weeks later, almost a month later. So thankfully we weren't in any hurry to put this thing up, because we would have had it erected without the roof. So this comes, I'm assuming, again from a, let's see, is there an address on these guys? This is from a completely different company, which I'm assuming they source somewhere closer to you because it's cheaper to ship. So what a lot of guys do is, if you can get a cut list, you can actually just order the frame from VersaTube, go directly to your local sheet metal place and have them cut you the roofing to your specifications, and you end up saving a couple of bucks, right? Because you're cutting out the middleman when it comes to the sheet metal side of things. But if you're like me and you don't want to spend the time to figure all that out, you pay a little bit more and you just get this all in one package, which is what's sitting right there. I didn't go too big. I believe it's 24 by 22. I'm going to recheck those dimensions in a second. So 24 by 22 is not going to, like, it's a little bit bigger than a standard 2-car garage. My plan though is it's going to fit the Coyote tractor. It is also 9 feet tall, which just barely clears that tractor, but you'll see what we're going to do to make it a little bit taller. So I want to fit the Coyote tractor, and I want to fit the Diamond Seat dump trailer, and I'm thinking if the excavator can kind of squeeze in behind it a little bit sideways and finagled, we can get all 3 of those in a 24 by 22 carport. Don't really know. I haven't drawn it on the ground and seen if I can fit it or anything. Wish me luck. If not, you know, eventually we just put another one right next to it and they're matching and they're all nice and beautiful. We were going to go with a super long one. That way we can put my deck over trailer, which is about 30 foot in, but they start to add up really quick. I think I'm about 3,500 into that setup right there. Now, obviously you guys know we're gonna take it further, so it's gonna end up costing more. Now the plan is it's gonna sit right in this area, right? We've got Rhino block and brick. It's close enough to the house that I can keep an eye on stuff, but far enough away that like we can start clearing up some of the front of the house. As much as I enjoy having things close by and storing them right there, and they're easy just to walk out to and jump in, I don't like the front of the house looking like just a storage yard for random vehicles. That's what we got this area for. Quite possibly gonna move some of these pallets of block today, which if you want to talk about Snake Central, this is probably Snake Central over here at Rhino Block and Brick. We've got Dedek's Jeep there. We've got Dedek's donor truck that he pulled his Duramax out of. We've got a random boat on a trailer that somebody ditched at the warehouse and we brought out here. Kind of my catch-all crappy area. I'm not a big fan of this area. We got a good deal on block, so we bought them all. I brought this bit of dirt up yesterday when we were hauling all the dirt off of the house flipping nightmare project. And if you notice behind me, we are on a slope, right? This entire property slopes down this way. Well, we don't want to build a carport on a slope, so we're gonna have to level it. And instead of digging into this hillside and dropping down, because a lot of water is gonna shed this way, instead we're gonna build up. So all the dirt that we dug out of the pool project, I'm gonna bring over here. And I don't have my dump truck. It's actually at a neighbor's house. He's doing a little bit of work on it. We're trying to find a new carburetor for it. We just are striking out. So we might just be doing this bucket load by bucket load. Or I guess we could use the Diamond Sea. But the plan is, instead of digging down, we're gonna build up. It's gonna be a significant amount of dirt. And then from there, we're gonna be digging footings, doing concrete stem walls. I'm excited to jump into this one. We've jumped in the Coyote now. We're gonna take this over and start moving some pallets. We don't need to move a ton. Me and Papa Rhino just kind of scoped the area out, put a little preliminary plan together on where this thing is gonna sit. And it's actually looking like we're not gonna go further back than where the pallets of block are now. You'll notice these 2 trees right here. I wanna be basically centered up in between. Reason being is I'm gonna be parking a trailer in there. I wanna be able to pull up, back the trailer in without having to like worry about hitting a tree or something like that. We had thought about maybe shifting it over this way and the tree kind of hides it and you're not really looking at it, but for ease of not beating up my trucks by scraping the crap out of them with trees and with the tractor and all that, we're gonna pretty much keep it centered with these 2 trees. Now one other thing you may notice, and it's probably gonna be harder to tell on camera, but the ground right here slopes this way and it slopes towards us. So we're gonna have to bring a significant amount of dirt up right here to be able to get level over there. I'm gonna try to pick up this pallet with all of this rebar on it. There's a good amount sitting right there. We've got it spanned across 3 pallets. However, I'm hoping if I grab that center one, we can pick it up and not drop everything, because we are gonna be kind of going where that is. So we'll probably end up having to move the concrete mixer as well as those 2 pallets. We've got the camera system coming in handy to be able to see where those fork tips are. Look at that, nice and easy. Because again, you really can't see it on the front of the tractor. The camera system is a huge help to make sure we get it every single time. Wish me luck. Let's see if we pull up. Can we get all the rebar in one shot? Don't fall off, rebar, don't fall off. Oh, look at that. Think we got it, y'all. Think we got it. Oh, the 3/8 is not, the 3/8 is not super balanced. It's kind of bending down there a little bit more. Grab a couple of pallets, keep the rebar up off the ground. All right, we'll set the rebar down. Oh, nope, nope, about to miss right there. A little more forward. There we go. Now, one thing I need to do is I need to bolt up a ball hitch setup to the back of my Gannon. That way we can move trailers efficiently. Oh, that's not gonna go on there. Son of a gun. Oh, but can we finagle that on there? And then we finagle that on there. And then we put a lot of faith in some 3/8 rebar. You guys think that's gonna work? I'm lazy, let's try it. I don't know if it's gonna be able to pick up high enough. This chain's kind of long. Let's see if we can choke up on the chain a little bit. Or that rebar bends, chain comes off, mixer goes through my new fence. And just because it would happen to me, it actually goes through the new fence, but right there where that spigot's coming up, so we also break a water line. Not that I don't believe in thinking positive, you know? Let's see if we can even pick it up. Nope. See what happens if we just go to dragger. All right, she'll come with us. Not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Actually, hold on. Let's curl that up a little bit. We'll get a little more reach out of her. Now, we're not gonna go too far because we are gonna be pouring concrete out here. So we'll just set it right on the other side of the block for now to get it out of the way. I am genuinely surprised. Whew, it barely worked, but it worked. Yikes. Probably move these deadly broken pallet boards before we pop some tires. Set that right there for now. Now, if you remember when we were first testing the tractor with moving block, the fork tips kind of caught the edge of the pallet. This was before we had the camera system on there, and I toppled all these blocks. With the camera system though, that hasn't happened. Now, one thing I'm genuinely curious on is if that thing can actually pick up a full pallet. We were able to pick up these, which if you notice, these pallets are missing a row of block. That's about the height they should be at. This one was missing one, and it was able to do it, but it was super sketchy. So adding a whole nother layer, which is, what is that? 3, 6, 18 more blocks. That's pretty heavy. I don't even know if we really need to move a pallet. I guess we got to move this one. So we are 22 feet, which will show you guys, or 24 feet, sorry, which will give you a little demonstration of what that looks like. There's 24 feet wide. Now, we're not quite centered up with these trees. We could probably shift it just that way a little bit, but that'll give you a good idea. Let's see, I think we're gonna be all right. Tractor, trailer, good walking space in between, maybe room around the back for the excavator or in the front. I actually want the nose or the tongue of the trailer to stick out a little bit so the solar panel still gets some sunshine, so it'll keep the batteries charged on the dump trailer. Let's see if the tractor will pick up a full pallet. Last time we had the mower on the back. I don't know if that box blade or the mower weighs more. The mower was very, very kind of a light duty mower, so I don't think it weighs too much. Oh, I don't really want to walk in this either. This is like prime snake territory. And they're probably mad I killed their brother. I mean, taught him how to use a shovel. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, here goes nothing, guys. Wish me luck. Nice and easy, and again, I'm actually just staring at the screen. That's all I'm looking at when I'm doing this. All the way back up against the carriage of the forks. Ooh, she heavy. But I think we could pick up, hold on, we gotta go up a little bit higher. All right, we're off the ground, but barely. The rear end is pretty light, but if all we're doing is moving over there, I think we're gonna be okay. Nice and gentle now. Oh yeah, no problem, guys. Any snakes down there? Some water bottles. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. I will say, these were all plastic wrapped, but man, did that plastic wrap not hold up out here. That stuff was gone pretty quickly. We'll just set this right here for now. Alrighty, we did it. And look at that. No mishaps with the forks, taking the whole stack down. Grab this pallet of these column block, and I'm actually gonna have to get out and kind of evenly put these on the pallet. We don't want those to break. They're very expensive. And just to kind of put into perspective for you guys, like block nowadays, they're 2 something a piece, almost $3 a piece. There's a lot of $2 to $3 bills here if you add that up. So it's a good thing we bought these when we did, because the more we build out here out of block, the more fireproof things are and the better. Hopefully by all this activity we got going on too, you know, scaring off any of the snakes. The good snakes, sure, no problem. Y'all can live out here. But them rattlers, you got to go. Now we're gonna go switch back over to the bucket and let's start bringing dirt over. I should shoot this ahead of time with the laser. I mean, I know we got to bring a bunch in, so. I was just gonna say, Papa Rhino went over to the neighbors to see if they could slap that carburetor back in and we just get the dump truck over here. And he just came back, so let's see what he's got to say. He is loving having the golf cart back though. He has missed that thing. No, I moved it. We only got to move that one.
Okay, I called Earl on the truck. Ordered the new carburetor.
You can't find it. Did he find it?
Found it.
Okay. Probably my favorite thing about this camera system though is swapping the implements. I know I've talked about it before, but I mean seriously, look at just how clear you can see that. Hopefully there's not too much glare, but it just makes getting into your buckets, your forks, your grapple, whatever attachment you're running on the front, super simple with like 100% success rate. So it sounds like we're not gonna have the dump truck back today. I guess my neighbor was able to find a carburetor for it, so that is good. So we're gonna get the carburetor all swapped out, which means we're just gonna haul dirt with the tractor. Which again, it's not the fastest way to haul dirt, but it's not like we have a ton. We've got that pile right there, that's it. So let's get to it. Yeah, y'all, this is going way too slow. We're gonna use a Diamond C dump trailer if the 6.0 can pull it up this gravel hill right here. The gravel's super loose, so anytime I come up here even empty, sometimes the wheels spin. That thing being fully loaded, I don't know if the 6.0 is gonna be able to pull it off. We got Papa Rhino out here now. He's got the laser out, so that's gonna tell us we're gonna shoot that corner right there. That'll be our high point, and then we wanna be level from there. So if we wanna go from there, whatever level is going to be up out of the ground, that'll tell us how much fill dirt we are bringing in.
That's the high spot, guys, right there. All right, we got to come out.
I'd go more back. Well, if you go 24 from here, that's our extra couple feet we want around it. All right, let's see what we're at here. Woo!
That's what I was thinking. There's no way you can dig out the back.
1'11". That's a lot of fill we got to bring up. That ain't even the low spot. The low spot's over here, because again, the yard slopes this way. Building's 24, so we'll go 28. Now we're opting to go bigger on both sides. That way the edge of our built up pad isn't just a steep cutoff at the end. We want a little flat area, and then we'll start to slope back down to the rest of the property. Oh, that ain't too bad. 17, 18, 31, 32. That's a lot of dirt. We'll get the mini XL loaded, and I checked up and down our dirt road on the property everywhere I drove that day and still have not found the pin. So I gotta get over to Bobcat and buy a pin, and I think I'm actually gonna take the entire Mini X in there, take it in for its 500-hour service. Well, I opted to switch out to the 450. I forgot the hitch that I have on the 6.0 is only rated to 16,000 pounds. Oh, come on, slide back. Slide back, we're so close. This one, I believe, is rated at 30,000 pounds or somewhere around there. Instead of putting all that extra stress on the 6.0, especially on the hitch and where it bolts to the frame and all that, put it on the 450. Trailer is brought over, and now we should actually make some progress. Let's get her loaded up. That's a pretty hefty load there. I guess that'd be about the same weight as a full load if we really were to spread it out. HYPERLITE is clearing off all of the brush. These gates open. I could probably use the spreader gate for this. And just leave it unlatched the whole time, but whatever. We had a minute here waiting for him to clear out. Oh, she's got this. She's got this. I'm telling you guys, this is where the benefit of the telescopic front lift comes into play over a scissor lift. There's gonna be times you're gonna overload your trailer, and those scissor lifts, if they are overloaded, they do not want to dump, and then you're stuck unloading by hand or by machine. I mean, God forbid you get to the dump with a heavy load of concrete in there and it won't dump. You're in trouble, and you're gonna be there for a while. And you can hear in the lift, it's heavy. Once we get to that second stage, it'll speed up a little bit. There we go. We are engaged in the second stage. Now, I was trying to keep track, but I think I might have forgot we're either 7 loads, I think 7 bucketfuls in this trailer, which would be 7 trips back and forth. Maybe it was 6. I guess it's a toss-up as to what's quicker. This just feels more productive versus like one little scoop at a time. We're all the way up. Let's pull forward. And this is where having a remote would come in handy, because right now I could just be going down and already driving back. But instead I gotta jump out, press the down button. Somebody did mention they have like a bleeder valve on their hydraulic pump that they use to bleed out as they're pulling away. I don't really see that anywhere in here, nor do I want to just go start unscrewing things, so we're just gonna have to, but it does go down pretty quick in comparison. Alrighty, we got the last and final load in the dump trailer. I don't even know, I lost count. We're probably about 7 loads, maybe 8 loads. Actually, I feel like it's gotta be more than that. Regardless though, we got it done. So that's good. Let's go dump this last load. It would have been much quicker in the dump truck, but we worked with what we got. Thankfully we have the dump trailer, because it was still significantly faster than taking 1 bucket load at a time traveling, you know, across the property. And look who's made it back in the yard. The donks are taking advantage of the gates being open right now, and they love new dirt. They always got to come check out what's going on with the new dirt. And watching Papa Rhino and how he's moving that dirt, we're gonna need some more dirt. We're gonna have to pull from somewhere. So unfortunately, moving all that dirt took up way more time today than I had originally kind of figured. But you can see we are about grade right there. We might be a little bit higher up. Obviously, the more we compact it, it's gonna drop a little bit there, but it's not looking as drastic as I had originally thought it would. I mean, when you're holding a stick 3 feet up off the ground over there, it looks pretty crazy and pretty gnarly. And again, remember, we're kind of zeroing out about where the excavator is. So a lot of this dirt will go on this side, but the excavator, there won't be any dirt getting added. Then we're gonna have to fudge this area to make a nice driveway approach up to it. Tomorrow, we're gonna jump back on. The guys did a killer job today cleaning up all the plants around the house. Hopefully we invite no more snakes over. Good news though, we added those spigots right there. So now I'm gonna grab the hose right now actually and just wet all this down. Thankfully, it has been super wet. It's been moist and like super overcast in the mornings. So the dirt is gonna compact really, really well. Okay, day 2. I just ran around this morning with the laser to see where we're at, because we've brought in a ton of dirt. You can see, I mean, it's a pretty significant build up to the pad, and we are still like, I don't know, a foot low on this corner, which is a lot more dirt we need to bring in, and I just really don't want to do that. So what we're gonna actually do is we're gonna drop that corner, because again, that corner is where we zero out to. That's where we took our level from. So we're gonna drop that about 6 inches, which will bring us to basically where that is right there. That's about level going across the back. The original reason we didn't want this below grade was a lot of water kind of sheds this way on the property. We don't want it tearing through the carport area, but we'll only really be below grade about there. So this right here, this is set to 6 inches below, which is on this mark right here. So we are Imagine we have dug down 6 inches. That is what the laser is going to tell us of where we're at. So we're currently in the ground, in the ground, in the ground, in the ground, in the ground. So from there to here, we are currently in the ground. Still in the ground, still in the ground. But by about here, we're already 2 inches out of the ground now. We'll come over to our corner. Let's see where we're at. I think we're pretty close to level where I had it already graded, which is good. That means we don't really have to mess with this area anymore. We do have to build up that corner. Show you guys where we're at on this corner. That's actually not that bad. It's actually not that bad. We are, we'll call that about 8 inches. I think that's the right move. That way we're not having to bring in a ton more dirt. And again, the more dirt we bring in, the steeper of a ramp and a road we're gonna have kind of feathering out back to over there to get trucks, trailers, whatever up into here. And then all we have to do on this backside is we just need to pour a little concrete curb. That'll keep any water and dirt and anything from washing into the carport. Papa Rhino just showed up. I'm gonna jump in the excavator while he runs around with the stick there and gives me my elevations. The other thing is we are 22 feet, which is our front to back dimension. It's about where that tape is, and that's kind of being generous because I was thinking about actually pushing this back a little bit further. So all of this dirt in the front doesn't necessarily need to be here. I'm gonna start taking some of this from there, working my way back. I'd like it to be kind of level coming out of it and then have the road go down. We're gonna use up a lot of this dirt right in this area. And then later, once this thing's built, we can bring in more dirt to get the road out of the spot. So I finagled around for a while here, and I think I actually made the grade kind of worse. I was trying to work with what we got, and really we just need to bring in a bunch more dirt. So I went ahead and brought a few more scoops over, but there's nothing close by to bring dirt over, and I'm not really just ready to do a bunch of exporting, or I guess importing of dirt from another side of the property today. Once we actually get our stem walls in, then we can grade out the middle. So really right now I'm just spending a bunch of time working on grading out the middle, and we can do that later. The most important part right now is the perimeter, and it's really this side and the opposing side over there, because that's what the building sits on. There's just 2 concrete stem walls that are going to go in here. The building's going to sit on top of it. There is no back to the building, and there is no front to the building. So we've gotten it close enough here. This is good enough to get our stem walls and everything dialed in. Then we'll worry about the middle later. Right now, Papa Rhino's going around. He's putting up our batter boards, and these are going to determine where the actual carport sits. So basically these are set to the elevation of the top of our board that we want. And again, the stem walls are where the carport is going to actually sit on. So the top of that 2x4 is the top of that concrete. So just imagine like a concrete curb basically. And right here, we're going to be out of the ground about 6 inches. And then obviously as we go that way, it's going to grow and grow and grow because it slopes down a little bit. And this is where having to square up the building and everything comes into play. Because obviously the string lines that we're going to be pulling from there to another batter board that'll be over here, we need that to square up with that. Otherwise we end up with some parallelogram, and trying to put up that carport on a parallelogram is going to be next to impossible. So you can see he's using the laser, and that laser is set to the top of that 2x4, and that shows you just how much further we are out of the ground right there. That is where the 2x4 is going to go over here, way up out the ground. And then with the batter boards, you push them back further from where your building's actually going to be, because you don't want them in the way when it comes time to building. Typically, if we're doing like a house foundation or something, that is our Bible. The batter boards are our Bible. Once they're up, don't touch them, don't hit them, don't move them, because if they move, we're pulling everything off of them, and nobody lets you know that they moved, you're in trouble because something's going to be off later down the line. It's good compaction. Okay, now we're doing the fun part, which is squaring up the building, and this is super important. So you can see we've got our batter boards in all the way on all 4 corners. So we know our dimensions, which are 22 deep, 24 wide. So I use the Construction Master Pro app, which is also a real calculator. If you guys want to actually have one to carry in your tool bags, you just come onto the Construction Master Pro, you do 24 feet, that's your length, 22 feet, that's your width. Then you hit width again. It's gonna give you the square footage. You hit it one more time, and that gives you square up. So what that means is from that corner to this corner, if you measure on a diagonal, we should be 32 and what was that, 11/16. No, 32 foot 6 inches and 11/16 is what we should be. So that's what we're shooting for.
6 7/8, right? Wait, what side, Poppy? This one?
No, the other side.
Okay. Shit, might be there.
Pretty close. Okay guys, we got it all squared up. It's always kind of a fight when you're playing in like the middle of the open to really get it dialed in, but just because I'm impatient and curious, I'm gonna park the tractor in here. Oh, it's gonna make it. Nope. We're gonna switch to 4-wheel drive, so I'm gonna leave our rut right here. All right. Let's see what it looks like. Obviously, once you see the lines up, you're like, ah, it's kind of looking smaller. It's gonna shrink even a little bit more than this by the time we pour the curbs to about here with the tractor. Ooh, the bucket. This is a long tractor. The bucket's gonna stick out just a smidgen, maybe? Let's see. Oh, no, tractor clear. So there is the edge of the building, is that spray painted line right there. Tractor is gonna clear. We still got some room in the back. Now remember, where these lines are, that is the outside of our form. So our form is gonna go here. Then we're gonna have a 6-inch curb on the inside, and that's what the carport is going to sit on. And then we'll do that big curb around the back now that we see how high we are. But this is basically our elevation. It's going to be a lot of concrete in here, and then we still got to bring in a lot of fill. But that is keeping us 6 inches above the high spot over there, because we want to be 6 inches above the dirt. Over here, we're not too bad. We're pretty well graded out. And then look at that, we got plenty of room for the trailer. I don't think we're going to squeeze the Mini. We might actually be able to get the Mini X in between the trailer if we can really finagle her over. From our line, 8 feet is right there, which leaves us with, what is that, 6 feet in the middle? What do we got? 7 feet. We might just be able to squeeze the Mini X in between these two. That'd be pretty sweet if that works out. And then we've got all the important stuff covered. Tomorrow morning, the guys are gonna come. We're gonna get all the footings dug. We're gonna start setting the forms, but that's gonna have to wait till the next video. Sorry if this video was boring, but there was a lot of like explaining that I want to do on what we were building and how, and like just get you introduced into this project. The next video should just be straight work. We are overcomplicating a carport a little bit, but that's just typically what we do. If you read the instructions, which suck by the way from VersaTube, it's like, yeah, just dig a couple of post holes, pour some little footings, and then just drill your carport into it, but that's no fun. But before we wrap up, I gotta give a special shout out to Leonardo, the Leukemia Warrior, myself, your Uncle Jesus, and Dave. We are all rooting for you, brother. Your uncle says he loves you, and keep up the fight, man. We know you got this. We're all rooting for you. So Leonardo, appreciate you being a big fan of the channel and always watching, brother. That is awesome. And keep fighting the good fight. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like and get a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.